Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Mindset and Business Dojo Show. My name is John and I am your business mindset coach. Today we're going to be focusing on something that I think is going to be very relevant for each and every one of you who are listening, and that is how to switch roles, and that can be from roles within your business, but also roles from, say, being a business owner to being a dad or to being a husband when it's time for you to switch off and be present at home. Because from all of the entrepreneurs that I've been able to coach, or business owners or CEOs, executives, one of the biggest challenges that they actually face is being able to create some space for their personal life. And it's often not about time and energy, it's about how can I actually be present? How can I actually get my business work done? And when it's time to come home, let's just say we have a 1 hour window or 2 hour windows where I'm spending time with my kids, or I'm spending time with my wife or my partner, or doing something else. How can I push the business stuff aside and concentrate on being the father, concentrate on being a good husband, concentrate on being present in that moment so you can bring the best of you? Because let's be honest, we all play different roles within our life, more than you actually think. If you're a business owner, you probably wear several different hats on a daily basis. You've got to be the marketing, you've got to be in charge of the sales, you've got to be the one who leads the team, you've got to be the one who sometimes interacts with the customers. All of them require a slightly different version of you. The vocabulary you use can be different. The way you think might need to be different. Sometimes the way you present yourself will need to be different. And what's certain is the mindset is different, and often the behaviors are different depending on the role we're actually playing. So the first thing we want to be able to do is actually identify what is the role we need to play, or what are the roles that I need to play on a daily basis, so I can create systems that allow me to do so. So I can create transitions that allow me to transition from being in the sales department into the marketing department, or going from leading the team into now coming home and being a leader at home in my personal life. Because the way you communicate with your spouse or your kids is going to be very different than how you communicate with your employees and how you communicate with your customers. So these are all the small little things at a mindset level, but they're so important in terms of how you show up. They're so important in terms of the quality of the life that you experience, because you're not just a business owner. And I know so many of you tie your identity to that. There's so much more that you are beyond that, and that's what we want to tap into today and reignite that passion and give you some of the tools that actually help you transition. So the first thing we have to do is be able to identify the roles that we actually need to play on a daily basis, right? So what is it? And that will be different for you in your business, because maybe you've got a bigger team and you've got people in certain roles that no longer require you to, say, wear the marketing hat, wear the sales hat, and so on. But really define the different roles that you have to play. And now let's stretch it out of business and let's look at the different roles in life. So it could be I'm a father, I'm a husband, what else are you? I'm a sibling. Like, what else are you? I'm a community leader. Like, the different roles that we have to play. And what I want you to think about is, what's some key transitions that you can integrate for those roles? So a simple one for me is I usually wear my branded clothes when I'm working. And when I take it off and I switch into my normal clothes, it usually signals triggers a signal for me that I'm switching from work mode into home mode. Another thing that's so important to do is know your outcome. So if you're spending time with your family, and let's just say you're playing with your kid, and you want to be able to give your undivided attention, say for 30 minutes or 1 hour, to your kid. So the first thing you want to do is, what's the outcome I want here? Well, my outcome is I want to be able to be fully present and make sure that I maximize every moment that I have with my son. So I can be the best father I can be, and he knows that I'm always present and he is always my priority. Now, if that's your outcome, it's going to change what you do during it completely, because you're not just trying to think, how can I switch off from business? No, you've got a really strong outcome to anchor it towards. What's a couple of things that you might need to do for that? Well, it might be I want to eliminate distractions. So maybe I put my phone away. Maybe I only work in a certain room in the home. So I have an office space where I do my work and everything else is for home. These small little transitions, they matter a lot, because environment triggers. Environment creates cues, right? If you step into a gym, you usually get triggered in a certain way. It puts you into a certain mode. That's how at least it is for me. It's the same when you're in your office, it's the same when you're doing certain activities. So create certain spaces that are just for family time, just for you to be intentional. We have to be able to be adaptive. Because the one who's the most adaptive, the one who's the most flexible, is going to be the one who finds a way. Because when the economy changes, when things in the external world changes, who do you think is going to be the ones that can change? The ones who have the most adaptive and flexible identity. And they're not attached to, I'm only these things. So something really for you to consider is, number one, what's the certain roles you need to play? Number two, what's the outcome for each of those roles? Or they will be context depending on what that thing you want to do in that moment. And number three, then, what's a couple of action steps, or what's a couple of principles, or what's a couple of boundaries that you need to put in place to make sure that you stay present, to make sure that you stay focused on that task or on that moment experience that you're trying to create for yourself. So hope that's been helpful for you. And if it's something you'd like to dive a little bit deeper, just drop me a message, and we can connect and see what that looks like for you. All right, so until next time, be well, and as always, ascend higher.